Welcome into Moving the Chains. I'm Kevin Thomas alongside Jerel Hendricks. Got a great interview lined up today for you guys. A very special guest, the head coach of the Jerel Mann Patriots, Scoot Watson. Coach, how you doing today?
Doing good. Doing good.
Well, we appreciate your time. We really do. If this is you guys' first time tuning in, check us out on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, etc. at Movin Chains, MovinChains. Also check out our website, movinchains.com. Also our podcast on Apple, Spotify, Google, etc. So, Coach, this is your third season with the Patriots. So what's your coaching career? How'd you get started? How'd you get to where you are now?
I started off in 2002 at Greer. Got my opportunity to coach under Coach Travis Perry for a season. And then in 2007, I started off at Greenville. I started coaching linebackers at Greenville. And I was there for 7 years. Coached under Jim Soulsby for 2 years, and then coached under Phil Magdick for 5. So we had some good times there. And then, I coached at Travelers Rest for 1 season, and then I ended up at Jerel Mann after that. So
Coach Watson, you're off to a great start. As we're recording this, we're going into week 3, but you guys are sitting at 3-0. Let's take a look back at your week 2 performance. You had a 21-3 win over Woodruff. You guys are 3-0 for the first time since 2011. How did it go on Friday? And what can you build on moving forward?
It went well. We had some inconsistencies on Friday, especially offensively. We sputtered a little bit. We try to be a fast-paced, high-tempo offense, and at times we just sputtered. On defense, we did well defensively. The guys answered the bell. We had a couple of drives where Woodruff drove the ball down the field on us a little bit, but we did a pretty good job stopping the run and making adjustments, and our front seven played real well.
So, Coach, people who aren't familiar with you guys, or we haven't seen you guys play, what type of styles and schemes do you run on offense and defense? And then do you still call plays on defense as well?
Yeah, I still call plays on defense. I do have a defensive coordinator that helps me out, Nick Lilly. He's the coordinator, so he does all the stuff on the sideline, all the adjustments, so that I can focus on managing the game. Once the defensive guys come off the field, so he's heavily involved. Defensively, we're multiple front defense. We'll be in 3-4 at times. We'll be 4-3 at times. But we like to operate and have a nickel guy on the field the majority of the game. This past week, we had to, bring in a true sandbacker, a heavier linebacker. So we had 3, pretty big-bodied backers in this past week. And then offensively, we'll spread offense. I don't like to put a tag on it. My offensive coordinators, Coach Cummins and Coach Little, they say we're an air raid team, but, from time to time, we'll get in some H-back looks, some tight end sets, and try to run the football.
So football is one of those things where you're always being innovative, always changing. But you mentioned your high school career and how you've gotten into coaching. But who are some coaches on the high school level, the college level, or the pro level that you say have influenced you as you've become a head coach?
Well, coming up, man, at the high school level, I got an opportunity of a lifetime to coach with Coach Travis Perry. I coached a year with Steve Woodward, who's a legendary defensive coordinator at Greer High School. I coached with David Farnham. Reuben Wright, who's at South Florida right now, is my mentor. He coached me in high school. So I had a lot of great mentors coming up. Again, Jim Soulsby, Phil Magdick, who was a defensive coordinator at Burns for a long time. Troy Bile. I just had a lot of guys that really influenced me. Coming up through coaching, and then at the college ranks, man, I'm a Clemson fan at heart, right? So, football is a copycat deal. You're always looking for things to steal, and add to your repertoire. But, I love Kirby Smart. I love what he does defensively. Been studying a lot of his stuff. Of course, I love Brent Venables. He's at Oklahoma now, but I love the pressures that he brings and the way he disguises blitzes and coverages and things of that nature. So, big fan of his, and I'm a Steelers fan as well. So love Mike Thomas. So
Yeah, Coach T, Coach BV, Kirby Smart, and those high school coaches. I went to TR, so I know Coach Farmer. He's a legend around those parts.
Oh yeah.
Well, Coach, so far on the year, you guys are averaging about 30 points per game on offense, doing up only 8 on defense. Who are some of the key guys that have helped you guys get off to this great start?
Offensively, Ethan Anderson, our quarterback, he's going to be something real special here in the next couple of years, next year or so. Michael McClellan, Toby Cates Jr., both of our slot receivers. Really, Nikai Morrison and Obadiah Jones are 2 running backs. Obadiah had a breakout game this past week at Woodruff. He rushed for 176 yards against Woodruff, but it was his first time really getting the bulk of the carries. So we've got some guys that we like, on offense, and then our offensive line, with Mike Morrissey in the middle as our center. And then defensively, Jacob White is our region guide linebacker last year. Jakari Bennett, who should be, Division I prospect, at defensive end, outside linebacker. Jaden Sullivan's another one, 6'5", 225-pound bookend who can flat out play. And then on the back end, Max Watt and Jaden Booker, have done a tremendous job for us this year. So we've got some guys we're really excited about, and that's been with me for a while. They've been with me for a while, so they know the system.
So the first guy you talk about is Ethan Anderson, your quarterback. He was actually our Week 0 Player of the Week in that high-scoring win over Eastside. Last season, he played one play before getting injured with an ACL. How awesome is it to see him coming back, having early success, and leading this team?
Yeah, it's been great, and the whole process of him in the offseason is training and, really not allowing his injury to really affect him as much. His parents did a tremendous job, with him and really encouraging him to get back, in the weight room. And, they did a lot of things, getting him counseling and making sure that he's right mentally, to come back this season. He's taking on a leadership role. He's only a junior, but, he's taking on a tremendous leadership role with our guys. We have this thing. We want our kids to get 100 days in the weight room. He was there every single day in the off season, and this summer as well. So, the kids are really following him and it's showing through his play. He's doing a heck of a job on the field for us.
So, Coach, before getting the head job there, you were the DC at Jerel Mann. And so you've been around for a while. So you knew that, Jerel Mann was not a program that had won a ton the last several years. How did you know that it was the right job for you? And then did you come in with any kind of, 3-year, 5-year plan? And if so, how's that been going as well for you?
Ooh, well, to be honest with you, I was going to Greer. I had accepted the job to go to Greer to be the DC there, when this opportunity arose. And, it took a lot of soul searching. I do a lot. I believe in God. I did a lot of praying, talked it over with my wife, with my family, and just decided that, hey, I love challenges, so why not take the challenge? I knew it was some guys in the school that, that should be playing football, and the biggest thing that's held Jerel Mann back, the past 10 years have been just kids leaving the program, just leaving the school, transferring out, going to other places, so the first order of business for us was just to keep the door shut, keep the guys that we have, keep them here, and then, put some things in place to make football more appealing. We're trying to grow the sport at our school. We had a whole lot of things that just wasn't in place, that needed to be corrected. And I'm blessed to have Bryce Nelson, our AD. He was hired at the same time that I was hired. He's a football guy. He played at Clemson, played center at Clemson. So, me and him both, our visions aligned as far as what we wanted the football program to be. And then the administration got behind us. So, we've seen a lot of positives, the last 3 years, just getting field equipment, the basic stuff, getting sleds. And, our kickers used to have to drive across to our stadium to kick at practice. So we got goalposts at the practice. You'd be surprised, some of the small things that you take for granted when you're at other places, now we got some of that stuff in place, and we're kind of starting to see the benefits of that stuff now.
Coach, I'm glad you brought that up. I'm from Greenville County. You've been in Greenville County a long time. What is it about, the Greenville County school system, not fully investing in football, and then, the kids, not, participating? You have a great program at Greenville. Greer's traditionally been pretty good, and Hillcrest is good now. What is it about Greenville County that's kind of behind the other parts of the state?
I think really what it is the fact that the county's so big, right? So many high schools, it's a lot of saturation. Football is alive and well in the city, believe it or not. There's a lot of solid youth football programs. And as you know, there's a lot of stud athletes, in the city and outside of the city. It's some studs, man. It's a lot of good football players, and what I will say on a positive note about our school district, what they have done this past year, in terms of, starting to provide each school with a legitimate weight room. That's step one, right? Just investing in all the athletic programs as a whole. You look at Anderson School District, and you look at the facilities that they have, the weight room, the gyms, the turf fields. We'll never have turf practice fields, and things of that nature. But, just doing the small things. One of the things that we did, this past year, and again, my administration got behind us, is making sure that we had that football class. I don't know if you heard of Burns and some of the other high schools. They have a class,
Yes,
during the school day where kids come in, they live, they're able to go out in the off season during school, and participate in that team sports class, and that's a game changer. And that's what also is attributed, to us getting better, is just having some kids, in that team sports class in the spring. I would love to have it year round, but, just those small things, go a long way in building each program in our county, so I think we're headed in the right direction, but, basketball is king in Greenville County, baseball, right? And now we've got this thing, lacrosse, we're starting to see more and more lacrosse teams, pop up across our county. So, I believe we're going to catch up, we're going to catch up.
Awesome. So you talk about kind of building the program, and, these kids haven't seen this kind of success at the varsity level, recently. Have you had any challenges kind of keeping them focused to keep like, hey guys, like this is, non-region, got a long way to go here in the season?
Right. We preach the same message every single day. We started preaching the message, when I took the job over, man, just staying focused, keeping the main thing. The last couple of weeks, our goal is just to be 1-0 each week. It's simple, not to look ahead, to believe in each other, not to be selfish, have discipline. We take pride in the small things. Today I had to drop the hammer on them a little bit because we had some trash in the locker room, right? So, we started practice doing up downs in the mud, we had a tough day yesterday, conditioning, so just keeping them level-headed, but those kids have completely, they've bought in, and, we don't know what the future holds, but, we know right now we can actually see some of the growth, that's taking place right now in the program.
So we'll take it back to the present then. You guys are, middle of game prep, practicing and all that. You go on the road to Easley. What are some challenges that the Green Wave bring, and what will it take to get a win over there?
Yeah, for starters, they've got a freshman quarterback over there that is he's unreal. They've got some receivers that are real athletic. Offensive line is pretty solid. I know Coach Jerel over there. He's a Burns guy. So he's an offensive minded coach. So he's got a good system. And he kind of me and him both kind of stepped in around the same time. So we talked a bunch over the past 3 years, and it's going to be a challenge to go there. When those kids have a lot of confidence, they've got a good system. They're doing things the right way over there, and, we just got to make sure that we, stick to our schemes, stay disciplined, play hard, and, let the chips fall where they may. I still feel real good about it. but we do know it's going to be a challenge. The kids know that, Easley's got some good talent, man. Got some good athletes.
So an Easley win puts you guys at 4-0, first time since 1996. Haven't made the playoffs since 2011. What would, continuing this run and making the playoffs mean for your program, Coach?
Oh, it'd mean a ton, it'd mean a ton, especially moving forward, looking forward to the future. We've got, our D team, which is our middle school team. Again, we're still fighting that battle, right? It's still a battle that we're fighting to keep our kids, with us inside of our program. For kids to see the varsity program having some success, it makes it very easy in the 8th grade to say, hey, you know what? I'm going to stick with Jerel, man. I'm going to stay, at my home-based school. I see that we're building something. And so, it's very important for the future, for our guys, just to keep our guys where they are, keep the kids in place.
So you play in a tough region in Region 1 and 5A. How does this this non-region schedule set you up, for those battles ahead against your Hillcrest and your Hannas and Malden, Woodmont?
Right. So, it's tough really to prepare for teams like, Woodmont and Hanna, because you just don't see those types, of offenses, but going against Woodruff, seeing some 22 personnel, seeing some, some double tights, seeing them, run some power football, running buck sweeps and, things of that nature. Those are some things that we'll see, later on down the road, against those teams. So, you kind of try to put a schedule together, that you can manage right now. Hopefully in the future, we'll be able to, step it up some notches, in terms of who we schedule in the preseason, in the non-conference. But, definitely playing against Woodruff and playing against Greenville next week, gets you prepared to play against, teams like Hillcrest, who's loaded with talent, in a hard-nosed football program like Woodmont, so, having those type of games, it can only help your team get better.
Coach, you talked earlier about a couple of your guys, Ethan Anderson and Toby Cates, who are really good players, but I got to ask you about Mikel McClellan, man. Is there anything that kid can't do on the football field? I can see him everywhere every week.
Yeah, I mean, he can do it all, man. Last year he took over at quarterback when Ethan went down. He hadn't played quarterbacks, 8th grade, so there's nothing that he can't do. He can play. He plays some corner for us, in our nickel packages. He's playing in the slot. He can line up at running back and run the ball. Believe it or not, he is strong as an ox. He power cleans around 240, squats 385 or more. I mean, he's a strong kid. Him and Toby Cates Jr. both, both of those guys are, they're strong kids. So when you're a little small in stature, you have to have something to level the playing field. And, those kids, they're super in that weight room, man. They love training.
All right, Coach, we're going to get you off the hot seat. We got a couple of easier ones for you here. You're getting ready for game day. You might be maybe the bus ride over to Easley. What's on that pregame playlist?
Oh, man, now I'm going to blow you away right here. Right,
come on.
So lately, man, I've been listening to the Canton Spirituals.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Come on with
it. I've been listening to Mississippi Po' Boy. That's the name of the song I listen to. I've been listening to a lot lately. Okay. I come home and put it on. I got 5 kids, right? I got 4 small kids, so they come home and hear me listening to that. So it's a little mix. You may hear I may listen to a little Mississippi Po' Boy. Some Nas maybe. I'm a Nas guy. I like Nas. But I don't listen to rap nearly as much as I used to. So it's probably some type of podcast or little Canton Spirituals or whatever, something basic, Okay. I don't listen to rap like I used to no more. The rap ain't the same, you know what I mean? So
it's not. Me and Kevin are getting up there in age, so we're right there with you. We've hit the pause, but we don't understand it. It's not for us. Right. So, but you took me back with the Canton Spirituals. I can see my grandma like frying up some bacon on Sunday morning with that, some grits going on. So I'm with you.
Oh yeah,
that's awesome. So, Coach, back in your playing days at Greer, you guys won a state championship. What was that experience like that season?
Man, it was awesome, man. The whole experience. I was telling my kids, the kids that I coach about how it was back in those days. We used to walk to practice, walking to practice that year, that we won the state title. You see people riding down, Main Street, honking the horn at you. The football players would be walking to practice. The cheerleaders would be walking to cheer practice. The band members would be walking to practice, and people on their way to work, they blowing their horn and, go get them jackets. And, so it was an awesome, it was an awesome experience. The whole experience was just awesome. Coach Holcomb was awesome, and that team was just flat out loaded. Now, all of us had played either with each other in Little League or against each other, since we were 6 years old. So once we all got on one team, we kind of knew, that we would win it all at some point,
So back then, were you guys playing in the Peach Blossom? Was it you still playing in that?
Yeah, we played Peach Blossom, and then I think it was the Foothills region. Yeah.
That's good stuff right there. So another classic question we always have to ask. Me and Kevin are foodies. I love barbecue especially. But what are your go-to restaurants in the Upstate? Where are you hitting up?
Woo-wee. Go-to restaurants in the Upstate. Okay, so I don't live in Greer anymore. I live in Reedville. But when I was living in Greer, we moved to Reedville last year. I mean, you got to hit the clock. All right, you got to hit up the clock. If the clock's closed, you go to Clock Express. Right. Tadpole Fish Camp. That's a go-to. You got Lorenda's right there in Greer. That's another nice spot to go eat. And then we've got, I can't remember the name of the place. It's another little fish place off of Lawrence Road that we go to from time to time, me and my wife. It may be Blue Bay or something like that, but oh yeah. But Tadpole, the Clock. I mean, those are the two, without a shadow of a doubt.
Okay. Coach, I'm sure you've heard this one 1,000 times. The nickname Scoot. Where's it coming from?
Okay, so the baby walkers.
Yep.
The baby walkers, you put your baby in, and teach them how to walk. So my dad claims that when he put me in the walker, all I wanted to do was just scoot around and bang into the walls while I was in the walker. I had no inkling to try to walk straight. Only thing I wanted to do was run into stuff. So he started calling me Scoot. So there you go.
That's awesome.
There we go. I thought you were going to say you had an extra gear or something. And the last question for you, you guys just love seeing the Patriots do so well early on in the season. But ultimately, what are your goals for this 22 season for it to be a success?
And just to continue to improve every week, like I tell the kids, I can't tell them something and I not have the same mindset. Our mindset is simple. We just want to go 1-0 every week, and what happens after that, as long as the kids having a great experience, the kids are improving, of course, every coach has the goal of winning the state title, so, obviously that's the ultimate goal, but, our goal right now is to be easy, simple and plain,
I love it. Well, Coach, this has been great. Definitely want all of our viewers and listeners to go check out Coach Watson and Jerel Mann on Facebook, Twitter, etc. They do a great job posting highlights and stuff from their games. Definitely follow them on there. Like I said, follow us on Facebook, Movin Chains, also on website movingchains.com, Spotify, Apple, etc. like that. Do you have anything else for Coach before we let him go tonight?
No, just continued success, Coach. We're definitely rooting for you. I'm especially rooting for you. I always root for the Greenville County schools in football. Like you said, we're always, basketball, baseball focused. So I like to see us when we do well. When I was a subpar football player a long time ago, Jerel Mann was good. They had some really good players, JT Floyd and Coach Harry Cavanis over at Chapman. He could run that rock back in the day, but just love seeing the Patriots do well, and we wish you continued success.
I appreciate it, man. Thanks.
Yep, Coach, we really appreciate it. Look forward to stopping by a game or practice soon and getting to meet you. And best of luck the rest of the season.
All right. Thanks, guys. Enjoyed it.
Appreciate you.